Welcome, everybody. Glad you could find time to make the session, and I want to thank ICMAD for helping us organize it and putting it all together, and glad to be here. So that was like the world's longest bio. I didn't know my bio was that long, but I'm glad you talked a little bit about who we represent as a trade association. Pretty diverse mix of members in the professional side primarily. Our government affairs program, we're sort of the new kids on the block. We have had an active program for about 10 years, but most of it had been volunteer driven up to a few years ago, where the board decided to actually get staff and additional resources behind the effort, probably long overdue. We've made some good progress very, very quickly. We're proud of what we've done. But our focus is a little more diverse than just the product or ingredient focus that our sister groups have. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that we've been active on in addition to the Safe Cosmetics Alliance, which you're going to hear in more detail about. And primarily, most of our issues are small business issues. The vast majority of our members, even though you have a P&G and a L'Oreal and Unilever as members, are small businesses, and they deal with lots of small business issues. So we'll move through it as rapidly as we can here. Our role in advocacy, obviously, represents a key focus for our members in our industry to make sure that we communicate effectively and aggressively to all of our decision makers, our positioning on issues and the importance of those issues. Obviously, making sure that they're aware of what our key issues are, make sure that they're understanding how our industry perceives those issues and how it will affect our industry. And then obviously to make sure that there's some positive change coming out of those relationships and those issues that we represent. Our focus, like I said, a lot of small business issues. We've worked hand in hand on some coalitions for some 1099 mandate information that we helped enact to keep some of the, keep those reporting requirements to a minimum for our small businesses. I've been active working with the School Association and some of our other groups inside the industry to address a Department of Labor issue that talks about gainful employment, which would affect the ability for students to get federally subsidized student loans to go to cosmetology school, which is a big one for us. FICA tip tax credit, that's an issue that we've been fighting for a number of years. It was sort of the genesis of our government affairs program, where we were looking to extend a tax credit that our salons and spa owners pay on the tipped income of their employees, much like the Restaurant Association enjoys. They have it, we don't, we want it. The New Hampshire bill, lots of state issues popping up with deregulation in our industry, whether it's the cosmetology license itself, whether it's the licensing of the actual salon or some combination thereof. Some of it actually makes sense, some of it makes no sense, but we're seeing a lot of that happening. And New Hampshire was one where we were very active in making sure it didn't pass. It was going to be a bad thing for our industry. And then interchange fee reform, one of our issues where to keep the debit card swipe fees to a minimum. We were active on a coalition to make sure that passed and helped our members. So that's where we've been. There's some detail on all those issues. I'm not going to spend too much time going into a lot of verbiage on that. You guys can get the PowerPoint after we're done, obviously, and it contains a lot of the detail for you. I do want to point out on our FICA tip tax credit, though, we had a recent win in the Senate Finance Committee hearing where one of our members in Montana was asked to come down, Chris Carpenter, and testify. She cuts Max Baucus's hair, so that's an advantage that we leveraged and leveraged very effectively, and she did a great job explaining how the FICA tax credit would help her business. Gainful employment, I mentioned it briefly. This is a fight that we're interested in, but obviously our school association is really at the tip of the spear on this thing, and we're going to be doing whatever we can to help support them. And the New Hampshire bill. These are popping up kind of all over, and I think you're going to continue to see more of these issues as states fight for revenues and are under the pinch of the economic downturn, and our interchange fee reform issue. We've got a great update and grassroots effort site under our website where we've really added some resources to help make our members' lives easier if they want to get involved in government affairs. I know I've got members in the room, hopefully lots of them, and some of you aren't. And if you aren't a member, I'm going to encourage you to join. But our website does have a lot of information. It makes it easy, especially for our salon and spa member owners who are busy day in and day out They can jump on the site, they can sign up, they can write letters to their congressional members, and get information about what's going on. Obviously, our industry-wide issues that we're very interested in or active in, the Safe Cosmetics Alliance. And I'm not going to steal John and Suzanne's thunder on it, but we're obviously going to be supporting that effort. It affects us in a big way, and our board and our leadership is behind the effort. Our keratin smoothing treatment FAQ, I know we had a lot of members who are in that smoothing category at this point in time. It's an active, obviously, category. It's growing. We found ourselves in a spot where we were not the ingredient issue experts. So we rapidly learned a lot about what some of the challenges were relative to the FDA and ingredients and packaging and labeling and all the things that affect our members. And our position has really been to try and come out and provide information. You know, we got our salon and spa members asking us about the category. We've got manufacturers that produce it. And really, it was just a lack of a lot of information. So we were early on trying to really put together guidance, direct people to other resources, and sort of play that information role only. And I know Patty's been involved with the actual Keratin Council, and they have taken it to a whole new level. So we've been supporting them wherever we can. And really our role has been, and this has been to educate and inform and redirect if necessary. Market research. One of the things we do as a trade group is we're active in market research. We need a lot more, but what we do is important for our members. Salon industry snapshot for us, this is what our world looks like, and most of it according to how the government looks at us. Some of it not accurate. Some of it numbers are pretty skewed, but that's how the Department of Labor and the U.S. Census Bureau looks at us. One of our challenges as an industry is to help potentially redefine what some of those definitions are so that what the government looks at and reports is actually a little more representative of what our industry actually is. But right now, that's it. A lot of establishments, a lot of economic impact, and it's a big category. I wish we had more of these members on board, believe me. Job growth, we've seen some good growth between 2010 and 2011, approximately 3,000 jobs. Economically, our salon industry has held its own. Flat may be the word some people use, small increases, that's probably really what our data is telling us, that we've haven't had a big downturn, but we have certainly sort of held our ground and showing some signs of rebound ever so slowly. We produce a salon and spa performance index, basically a confidence index that we go out and measure our membership, survey them quarterly, our salon and spa members. And the good news is, first quarter 2011 is looking positive. Most of our salon and spa members are reporting some positive results. They were optimistic about whether they're going to be hiring, adding capital, making improvements to their environments, and looking at some of the retail numbers for them, obviously looking hopeful too. So jury's still out. First quarter is the first quarter, and every day the situation, I think, changes, as we all know. And then our market shipment study. This is a study that we produce for our hair care manufacturer members. It's a narrow slice of the industry, but it's an important slice. The hair care market, obviously, for us is the biggest. We go out and survey twice a year our members who represent pretty much 95, 97% of the total category, ask them to report back to an independent accounting firm what their results are. And at the manufacturer level, we break it down and give people a good sense of how that hair care market is looking. Free to members if they participate, and there's a small charge if they are a member, and not available to non-members. So one of the benefits of being a PBA member. Our government affairs events, we are active with we actually have I would say, probably the coalition model. It's really a federation of trade associations that are in the professional industry. And Welcome to Our World's the event that we participate in. It's an annual sort of mixer on Capitol Hill, where we get together and set up a salon in the Cannon Caucus Room and do haircuts and mini manicures and talk to congressional members and their staffs about what our issues are. We've got other members of the Federation, the School Association, iSpa. We've got OPI as one of our manufacturer members. I think Big Sexy just joined as a manufacturer member. What I want to say, the International Chain Salon Association, but now ISBN, part of the Federation as well. So a great event. We do a lobby day in front of it, which has been really effective for us. And I think we're actually looking at probably within the next year or two, a full-on legislative conference for our members to come into DC, to be educated on our issues, bring them up to speed, get them on the Hill, have a whole day for them before we head into our Welcome to Our World event. And you can see all of our great members there sitting in front of their congressional offices. So that's it. That was a quick slideshow. I didn't want to spend too long, but we're diverse. We got a lot of issues. And they're, like I said, a lot of small business issues. And we are probably, adding resources to our GA program as rapidly as we can. Like I said, I think we came to the game late. Our history as a trade association has really been a commerce-driven trade group. Lots of trade shows, lots of buyers and sellers coming together. This event is part of that strategy that we have. Research and education, sort of our next tenet, but government affairs probably becoming one of our leading programs and the most relevant for us, given the situation out there in the legislative arena, and probably more important than ever that we're active and involved and making sure that we've got the right tools applied. So with that, I'm going to switch over to Sharon's presentation. And the podium is yours. Q&A at the end, right? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.